What's up?
We're back.
It's been
We're
like
back.
3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time.
Almost a damn month.
Caleb, how's your computer?
Fine. It's just been a fuck it. Dude, like I'm not gonna go to the deep dive, but at the gym, we literally switched all systems and like so we're switching all the systems, and I also started an app for our PTs to like
Yeah,
push their clients through. So I launched that all this week while we were switching systems. So it's just like fucking done.
it's a busy day. One of those days.
It's just like something's going wrong. So like literally I come home like, oh, peace and quiet. I put my cup down, I go to move it, and I didn't screw the fucking top of it on and just spilled it. I was like, God damn it, man.
We all
Hey,
got
I
yeah.
I have my brother's wedding this Friday, so I had to take off Thursday and Friday. And my day today was just back to back, but it was so good because of food. But really, I don't even have that much food yet. But
It's so weird to hear Rob like alive.
I'm
I know.
alive.
I know.
I'm
It
alive.
is crazy seeing the difference between kind of those last couple weeks, Robbie, and then now you can definitely tell how how the energy is much different.
But
Yeah, if you're new to the podcast, go back last episode and see my shell of a body. I
yeah,
wasn't even there.
that one you were essentially on your deathbed, it felt like.
Yeah, and to be honest, it got worse from there, but it was a learning lesson. We're done. We made it. It was fun.
Good shit.
I kind of look back at it and I miss it a little bit. But to be honest, this reverse, I am so hungry all the time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
just like prep, like I'm never satisfied, even though like I have a little bit more carb. Like the energy's there, but like I'm so hungry, fucking all the time.
That's how I've been recently. I kind of was sick for a little bit, and now I got my appetite back, and I'm telling you, I can't stop eating. Getting back to like, full force, it feels really good. Um and I think my trip affected it too. Like eating over in Italy, the cuisine over there was just so
Bro.
good. It gave me like a nice like reset on
Mhm.
everything. Like I usually have issues like if I eat out or have dairy, but over there I can eat everything and everything's just I feel great.
Bro,
So
it's because they don't add all that shit to their
I
food.
know no
Not even
preservatives at
playing.
all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
no, it's literally illegal there you cannot give that to the people. Like they don't import it. They don't have preservatives in their food. So it's crazy.
yeah.
you know?
Oh man, how was Italy? Good though.
Yeah, it was good. It's weird though. I think Robbie, you mentioned it on our pod when you came back from Spain. I think it was like a 2 week trip for you or something like kind of out of your ballpark, something you usually wouldn't do. And I just get ready to come back to the grind. I just love it.
Yeah,
I love like my routine. I love my schedule. I had a great time, but it gave me a good reset, gave me a refresh of and what I needed to get back to 100%. I'm sure you guys feel the same way when you're on a little vacation. But I still was able to check in with all my people, stay updated with everybody. So that's the beauty of what we do. We can do it from anywhere and still make sure we're on top of our stuff as well. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
absolutely. I'm not being rude. I just know our topic is progressive overload, and I just wrote up this workout for my client, so I'm gonna airdrop it to my computer to share the screen. But yeah, I mean, dude, Italy looks so that's one country like I really want to go to,
Oh, you'll
like
make it.
really want to go
You'll
to.
make it
Yeah,
there.
it's
You'll
beautiful.
make it there. That was my favorite part though, the food. Definitely. The gyms there, I hit the gym about 4 times there. Real small gyms. Like Robbie, if you or Caleb were in that gym, they would literally be asking for your guys' autographed. I picked up like I think it's like the equivalent to like the 100-pound dumbbells, like dusted them off and just smashed them on the incline dumbbell for like 12. And they were looking at me like I was, like
Crazy.
something was wrong with me.
Yeah.
Um, but it
Dusted them
was
off.
yeah, imagine you guys in there. It just would be it would be hysterical, honestly. But yeah, it's crazy seeing the culture change and everything. It's
Mhm.
totally different. it gives you some hope. It gives you some hope, honestly, because
Yeah.
I liked it honestly better over there. The people and
Oh,
everything.
same.
The people
So,
are so nice. They're so nice. They don't have like they don't have
yeah,
a care in the world. It's
Bro,
so
their
crazy.
driving's wild as shit, but they're nice.
yeah, that's a good.
There
Yeah,
is the roundabouts, right? The
Bro, they
roundabouts.
don't
Does
fucking
Italy have
stop. They
those?
just they
It's
gun,
scary,
baby.
man. They know how
yeah,
to do it.
That
If I
parallel
yeah,
drove
parking
there, if I
game is
drove
next
there,
level.
yeah.
yeah.
But I think we all got caught up. I think we're all caught up with each other. I think the
Yeah.
topic we were going over today, one of the most important ones, I think we've talked about it briefly before, but kind of just keying in on it was the progressive overload. Robbie, I didn't know if you wanted to touch on that anymore before we dive
Yeah.
into it.
So Brando, even you said you were like, hey, progressive overload might not last the whole entire podcast, but I think it's so important that we could make it last the whole entire podcast because if you're a client listening to this podcast right now, it's probably one other than the nutrition side of our podcast, this is probably the workout side that is the most important for building size and muscle. So I just took a screenshot of a workout I just created for a client that oh shit, can I not share it? You can only share it, right? Or can I?
I
Oh
think
sure.
I think I allowed you to.
Oh yeah, it says host has to allow me to.
We'll let you know.
Please. Okay, one sec. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Share. You guys can see that?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So this is just a little part of the workout. Hey, here, if you are tuning on the podcast, here's a free workout for you. So progressive overload. What is progressive overload? Progressive overload is beating the number or the weight or the rep from the previous week. Now, in this workout, we have a warm-up set, 2 working sets, and then technically 3 working sets because our last set is a max rep set, right? So for calf raises, right? If this is the client's first week, right? Calf raises, they got their warm-up set of 15, they did 120 pounds. Then they go into their working set. You pretty much just your first working set, you raise the weight just so you can feel where the weight's at, right? For that 12. This client did 140. Their next working set is your heavy set, right? Their heavy set, they did 150. It was supposed to be for 12, right? So they wrote a note and they put 10 and it was hard. So they got 10 reps and it was hard. That was for this week, right? So progressive overload for next week, obviously they're going to keep the weight at 150, right? And beat 10 to try and get to 12. Let's say next week they get to that 12, right? That means that the 150 can be bumped up because they got to that number, their set number of rep that they're supposed to get to for that set. Now, say they only got 11 the following week, then they have to shoot for the next week at 150 again until they get to that 12. Once they're at that 12, they could bump that 150 up. Max rep set. Usually what I have my clients do for their max rep sets is drop the weight. I would say about 15-20%. So this client dropped it down to 120 and they did a max rep set of 20 reps. When I have a client doing 20 reps, I feel like that's obviously they could definitely bump up the weight till they're around like I would say 12 to 15. So once they hit that 15 on their max rep set, they could bump that 120 pounds up to let's say the following week 130, 135. And then if they get 10 that following week, okay, now we have wiggle room until we get to that 15 for your max reps. So the following week after that, try to get 11. The following week after that, try to get 12. So that's my progressive overload. That's how I have my clients do all my progressive overloads. But with this workout plan, these sets and reps are all different based off of what that client's goals are. So this client, he's in a mini shred phase. So we have him doing a lot of max rep sets. We have his working sets at 12. So if we're in a growth phase, usually I would like to do like a set, like the working sets at 8. But yeah, that's pretty much my progressive overload. We're either beating the weight the following week or we're beating the reps the following week. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this is great. Anybody who's actually watching the pod right now, if you can, this is a really good example here of, us, of how the progressive overload should look. If you can key in on the objective, what we set for the rep range, which is key, versus the little note that is, 10 hard, that's key because you still have a number that you're shooting for, and that is the goal ultimately. So the next week you come in there, that 12 is still going to be there for the 150, and you want to knock out that note of 10 hard and make sure you get that 12. Next week we can move on to some additional weight, and move off the 12 set. But I think that this is a really good example, Robbie, just for someone to take a look at. I will say that there are some other ways, and everybody's a little bit different for the progressive overload I have seen. And I do actually have a couple clients that actually we have doing their max rep after their first couple warm-ups. I can't stress enough the key indicator that you need to warm up before you're going for your max set first. But instead of starting at 15 reps, we may start at the heavy set initially, so we can use all our max energy on that rep.
Absolutely, I agree with that too.
Yeah, so there is a couple different ways for the progressive overload. There is not one way to do anything or a right way. You got to find out what works for you. So if you're finding yourself in a plateau with some of your weight, and you've been doing your max weight on your heavy set on your third set after you've already done two ones where you've struggled a little bit, maybe on the next time you head in there, maybe try that weight first, and let's see how you do after your warm-ups. That has helped me get some clients off plateaus before when we've been talking about progressive overload. And like Robbie said, I can't stress enough in progressive overload how much it means. This is where you're going to find out really how hard you are training, because a lot of people think they're training hard in the gym. They're not they're not putting their stuff down. They're not logging their stuff. But yeah, you're going in there, you're getting a sweat. I'm sure that it feels like you're doing a great job. But this is where the science of the progressive overload is going to help. Make sure you're logging your stuff, knowing when you go in there that you have a number that you have to beat from last week. And if you are at a number that you've done comfortably the week before, then you need to bump up the weight instead of the reps. So I think that this is a really good example though. And just know, like I said, there is some other ways to progressive overload. If you're any of our three clients and you have plateaued and you're doing it this way, then let us know. Talk to us during the check-ins, and we'll give you alternatives, like starting off after your warm-ups with trying to hit that heavy set first. Let's see if we can get you off the 150 like we have in the calf raises here, and move on to a different weight. Sometimes things like that, changing it up, you can find work better for you. So there is multiple ways to do this. Talk to your coaches, let us know what's going on, what is working, what's not. And we all know there's just some exercises where it feels like it's impossible to get off a certain number, but there is a way,
Yeah, I'll look at my notes some weeks and I'll be like, what the fuck? I got that number last week.
Yep. Yeah.
God.
Hey, let's be honest. We all have really good weeks. You have 2 or 3 days, like you have really good days. And then the next week you go in there, you didn't get that water intake that you needed to before you were in the gym. Maybe you missed your pre-workout drink, missed the meal. There's things that go into that as well that we take into consideration. But if you're going in there ultimately and you're feeling good, once we get into that gym and we step in, you want to step into that competitive mode where you're trying to beat. It's you versus you. You're trying to beat those numbers that you put up last week. Don't go in there, get lazy, see the number you hit and be like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to go for the same amount. No, push for more. That's always going to be the goal in this progressive overload. And there's a lot of different ways we can do it. So if you're feeling yourself that you plateaued, you're struggling with the exercise, talk to us, let us know, and we'll make sure to point you in the right direction. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you use the word comfortable. In progressive overload, you should not feel comfortable. These, especially in this quads and calves workouts, if you see this hack squat, you see this pendulum squat, leg press, those should be killer. You should not feel comfortable in a progressive overload. Go ahead, Caleb. What do you think?
I just keep it simple. Each week you need to increase the intensity, no matter what the mechanism is. You do that, whether it's can't go heavier, more reps, less recovery time, or it's hard to say because it's always based on the goal. You know what I mean? Like I think people are like progressive overload, that means increasing the weight each week. I'm like, yeah, that works for a while, but eventually like there's going to be a bottleneck to that. So that's where it's knowing those different toggles you can kind of manipulate to keep that progression going. So Brando said it better than I could, and he elaborated perfectly. So, yeah, a million different ways you could do it. But one thing he said, and I'll reiterate, is write your shit down. If you're not writing stuff down week to week, you're gonna forget what you did. You're not gonna remember how it felt. You're not gonna rate stuff on a scale of 1 to 10, like rate perceived exertion. So, document your shit so that you can know what you're trying to beat the next week.
Absolutely, especially like a lot of some of my clients, and you know who you are if you're watching this. Even some this week were like, "Hey, I wasn't able to write stuff down." Well, then you're not doing your job right.
Yeah.
You know, because it's huge, especially for this kind of thing. And you're right. There comes a time where progressive overload, you physically can't go heavier at
Yeah.
the calories that you're at, or and the food that you're taking in. You physically cannot go heavier, and then you switch to your reps. If you physically cannot get more reps, then obviously you're at your cap. What do you have to do? Reverse it.
Yeah.
That's when I reverse it with my clients. We do a little mini shred, and just try to gain more muscle in our next growth phase.
Yeah. And I
Very
usually
good. Yeah,
pair that alongside like time under tension, usually tends to do the trick.
Time under tension.
that was
under
my
tension.
that was what I wanted to say, Caleb. But no, I think that everyone's made some really good points, and we've reiterated kind of the some of the things that we've all ran into with progressive overload, things that we've noticed. I wanted to ask you guys a question that maybe some other people may have as well. When you do get when you do hit that plateau with like one of your compound lifts, what is your key indicator of, okay, what's your key technique of getting past that plateau that you found works for you?
When I hit a plateau with one of my key lifts.
Yeah, like let's say a key lift. Like I know that for me, like one thing I've been working on recently is like the hammer strength machine. I've been working on that. I don't know if you guys remember it at Powerhouse. It's kind of that one where you lay down, the weights are it's right next to the rower where the hammer strength machines are. It's just a flat one. It's a horizontal press. Yeah, for chest. It's a horizontal press. And I've been stuck, around 5 or 6 reps once I get to 315. So I've been trying a couple different things as far as myself to get past that, but I haven't. So I'm asking, what is some key techniques that you guys use if you're stuck on a lift specifically? Is there something that you do to make sure that you get past that plateau, or is it something that you keep working past, just naturally keep doing the weight until you get past it? Or is there a certain thing that you do? I know, Robbie, you mentioned reversing it.
Well, yeah, I think Caleb would probably have the same answer too. First, in my opinion, you don't want to give up form, because at the end of the day, if you give up form, you're going to get injured, or you're not working the muscle that you're supposed to be working. So first, I always worry about the form before I try and just keep pushing. Second, I would give longer rest times. Caleb, is that something you were going to say? Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe give myself a longer rest time. See if I'm going too fast. And third, it would probably come to the diet. Am I hitting the diet exactly how I need to? Am I getting, if let's say my food, if I ate, let's say, an hour and 20 minutes before that workout that day and I didn't get it, maybe pushing my food a little closer to that, the pre-workout meal. a little closer to the strength training time and see if that could even affect it a little bit. Maybe 45 minutes instead of an hour and 20 minutes before my workout. I like to keep my food about an hour out, just to be able to like digest it a little bit, but maybe pushing it like that 45 minutes closer. But that's, and then if not, then obviously we're at that plateau.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. No, I just thought that it would be a good thing for people to hear that have that question, because I know that it's something that I've been asked, and questions that, you know, people have. So I thought that that would be good to kind of hear some key points that you think are important. So not necessarily something that I struggle with, but just something that I wanted to kind of like, if somebody were to ask you what your answers would be.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it depends on the goal too, because if it's just like getting over that hump and you're working on like strength, explosiveness, or power, and not so much like bodybuilding, compensatory acceleration training is really great. So we always talk about time under tension, and we all know what each other mean. Like you slow the shit down, you want to feel it right, like you want those muscles contracting and firing as they should. But compensatory acceleration training is like the opposite, where it's like more athletic based, right? So like you're trying to rep that out as fast as you can with control, so you're not locking or stressing a joint. But that's another way you could do it. You don't have to do the slow tension. You could go really quick with your tempos, and your strength and power will increase. But again, it's because you're leveraging multiple. It's like a chain reaction, multiple muscle groups working together versus time under tension. We're isolating more, we're recruiting more fibers and all that fun stuff. So it just really depends on the goal more than anything.
Yeah.
I think that was a great breakdown.
And most of us are trying to get to build that muscle, and that's what, like, I would say us three, right? So yeah, the muscle fibers are probably what we're more worried about rather than the speed.
Yeah. I've seen some benefit from hard gainers in the past I've coached, where they're big compound lift we're heavily focusing on that, like that max rep, the hard one. I'll let them train with a little bit less like slow tempo. But that max rep one, like Brando said, the structure, I usually come right out the gate. You're warm, your primer sets are done, go straight into that heavy fucking weight, train with intensity, use that acceleration training, and then back off of it and use slower tempo work after that. And I've seen pretty good responses because the strength increases because we're doing that compound with that acceleration, and then everything else after that's just really filling everything out. So yeah. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like going into just a heavy set right away. For this one, for example, the calf raises and the lying hamstring curls, obviously this is a quads and calves workout.
Yeah.
Right. So the lying hamstring curls just in general are just to warm up the joints, warm up the muscles, you know. So I always like to put maybe a little bit of a hamstring work in before you kill the quads.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great. I love that technique, is going straight, like, especially if this week you didn't hit your progressive overload, right? Skip that warm up set, get right into it, get right into the heavy shit.
Exactly.
Especially if you're warm.
That's something that I 100% recommend anytime I have somebody that's struggling getting past a specific weight every time, and usually it does the trick. I kid you not. So, but no, Robbie, you're actually one of the ones who initially showed me, you know, that I learned that technique from, seeing you doing your dumbbell work. I know sometimes when you're really pushing that PR number, you'll just warm up a couple times and you'll jump in right into it, and then you'll hit a couple back off rep set and sets. So that's where I kind of learned that from, and used it. It works, and I now apply it to a lot of the times when I need to. So,
but with that being said, a lot of people, whoever's new to working out and watching this, you want to make sure everything's warm. Like you don't want to just get in there, go to your hack squat, and hop on the heavy set.
Yeah,
like you want to do,
not.
You know what I mean? That's why we have that.
I mean, you could
curl. You could, but then yeah, exactly. You're gonna fuck some shit up.
Warm up for sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah, go warm up, Max.
Yeah. But Rob, to your point, like I think it's something I do, and I usually program it too. But when people like neglect the hamstrings when they're doing like a quad biased day and like squats and stuff like that, and they always just neglect hamstring curls, or they'll do it way later in the workout. And honestly, like I would argue that I would honestly put more of an emphasis on like a hamstring curl over like a leg extension before a squat, because your quads are going to get a lot of work during those warm-up sets, but your hamstrings aren't getting a lot of blood flow. They're not getting a lot of volume. and they're the stabilization muscle, and they're lengthening as you're going down into your squat. So if they're not primed, if they're not warm and they're not ready, like that's where a lot of people fuck up and get injured.
Yeah, same thing with the calves. That's
Yeah.
why I always have calves like up there.
Yeah.
Because like exactly, you're stretching them during the quad workouts.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. No, I like that. I do like that. I try to throw like the abductors and the adductors in
Yeah, those are good
on a lot of
too.
my days to get those warmed up, or I'll do like a 10-minute on the Stairmaster if I'm really feeling like I need to get loosened up. But those two do the trick for me, or just some walking lunges, no weight, just kind of getting that full stretch. I like doing those just to make sure I get right.
Yeah, this kind of podcast, especially for Sick Fitness clients or just clients out there, like people out there in general. This kind of thing is what we need to watch as clients, because if you have workouts in your plan that, let's say they don't have the calf raises in there, and you want to throw the calf raises in there, it's probably a good idea. Or if you want to throw some abductors in there, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So if you're one of our clients listening to this is something that you could definitely put into your program for sure, without obviously without asking, but
Yeah.
it'll definitely be beneficial.
100%, man.
Brando, there was one question you texted me that we should talk about. Something about sleep.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you guys, I don't know, we could save it for next time. I think that it'll be something good that for all of us to talk about, especially because I think all of us do it now. Maybe so it'd be something good to talk about, but we can just talk about the secret to getting up early, and kind of what that unlocks as far as your productivity, and not only that, but just the amount of stuff that you can get done, when you do kind of unlock that feature into your life. But I just wanted to kind of have like maybe like 15-20 minute segment where we talk about kind of like our secret, what helps us do it, why we do it, and if there is any real secret.
I don't know, honestly.
Now,
I can't not wake up early. I have to do it.
I mean,
Well, I can tell you why though. I can tell you why, and then it's gonna make sense, because I do have a reason. But I don't know. Do you guys want to save it for a different pod, or do you guys?
I don't know how much time we got. Does it say?
it doesn't say. Fuck it. Roll with it.
Roll with it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool.
It's been a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah. So I think that for me, the secret to getting up early is it isn't really a secret. The real secret to me is that you got to have a purpose. And if you do have a purpose, then like Robbie said, I can't not get up early, and it's funny when you don't even have to. It's hard to talk about because you don't think about it like that, because
The
it's just a
habit
natural
happens,
feeling. Yeah, it's just something that you do.
Yeah.
But I think that the true secret to getting up early is having a purpose, having a meaning to get up, and knowing that whether you want to get better at whatever you do, you're going through something and you want to redeem yourself, whatever the case is, you want to prove to yourself that you're not whoever you currently are, that if you have a real purpose, then it'll be easy for you to get up. And it doesn't have to just be for the gym. Like, you can get up early and work on whatever you need to get better in your career. Get up early and read a book and educate yourself. Get up early and focus on your religion. But I think that
Routine in general.
just having a routine, starting it early and going to sleep at a good time is going to do wonders for anybody who does that. So that, I think, is, there's no real secret, but if you do have a purpose, then you'll unlock kind of what the secret is to getting up early. So that's kind of my whole spiel on that.
Yeah, I just get down on myself, bro. Like even the weekends, I don't really sleep in. And if I do, it's like 6:30, maybe 7. If I like stayed up late binge watching a show on something and just relaxing. But yeah, it's just like it's a habit that's built in. And like if you don't have a purpose for getting up, you're not gonna fucking get up. You know what I mean? So like Brando said, whether it's bettering yourself, improving your career, or fuck, dude, even if you want to get up and have some alone time before a chaotic day, just like something where you can like center yourself before. And like everyone's always different the way they go about it. What I found works for me and a lot of my clients is like When your alarm goes off, don't allow snooze, count down from 5. When you hit 1, jolt your ass out of bed, and then make yourself uncomfortable right away. For me, I'll take like cold water over the sink, splash my face, I'm up. You know what I mean?
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you get that, and like obviously the first week's gonna suck, but once you get that built up, it's easy just to wake up and be like, oh shit, like you start waking up before your alarm and like you're ready to start the coffee up, start doing your thing. And key for this is do not fucking get on your phone for the first 30 minutes you're awake. Like if you're awake and you gotta turn your alarm off and you turn on like meditation, whatever you gotta do, that's cool, but just don't be waking up scrolling your phone. You'll fall right back to sleep easily.
You used the word that you said you would feel bad. You'll feel bad about yourself. I think you
Be
said
down on himself.
Oh yeah,
Down
be
on
down
himself.
myself.
Be
big time.
down.
Yep.
Because like when you wake, like if say I wake up an hour later, that's just like everything during my day is just a set schedule, and I think it's because I'm a Virgo. I don't know. A lot of people say that, like, oh, you're a Virgo, but my schedule, if I wake up like 30 minutes later or an hour later, my routine's like off, even though it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be off, it's just off. And then you also said something about don't go on your phone. The first thing I do in the morning is go straight to my backyard and hit my cardio on my treadmill.
Yeah.
And the reason why cardio is a little bit easier is because I don't go on my phone in the morning and I save it for the cardio because I have so much to get to, like from people texting me from the day before or checking my emails, and I get that all done, and then 40 minutes of cardio is done in no time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So that's a really good trick, is just don't get to your emails late at night.
Yep.
Don't get to your emails for the first thing in the morning or whatever work you have on your phone. Just save it for your cardio, and then your cardio's done.
There's not many things in life that are that time sensitive that if you get an email at 9, you need to have it back by 9:05. Like
No.
you need to have that disconnect. And I think a lot of people get wrapped up. Like I'm in a corporate position right now and I forgot this shit was like, and I've told them, I was like, if you text me after 8:00, you ain't gonna hear back because I'm getting my ass up early tomorrow. I'll text you back at like 4:30 or 5 just to return the favor, but yeah, it ain't gonna happen. So yeah. And I think a lot of my shit comes from, and I've said this in a bunch of different ways, just not on the podcast. Like my dad was an absent father. And so like, I never want to like follow that same path and just not live up to my potential and not show up for the people I love. So it's like when I sleep in, like it's fucked up. It's the first thought that comes to my head. It's like, oh, you're failing everybody, man. And it's probably not the most healthy mindset to have, but it works for me right now. So I'm gonna keep.
I think honestly, I wouldn't say it's unhealthy.
Yeah, but it ain't
Too
healthy.
unhealthy.
We all got our reasons, Caleb, you know.
Yeah.
So as long as you're getting it done, then you're getting it done. So we all got something we can point to that that is due to our family is why we do things today. So trust me, I'm right there.
Absolutely.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But
No doubt.
Yep.
All right, so we got 5 minutes left. We have to talk about some stuff, so we could actually pause this. But before you pause, check out this beard. It's coming back. I'm about to look like Brando. And
Yep.
Bro, what's the secret? I'm pausing this shit.